I mean, it's just waiting for the smoke to clear. I mean, lives in disarray. Scores of people are dead. We've lost the port of our country. It's gone. I mean, it's like there were hundreds of buildings and warehouses, and they're just gone. And so there's great fear. I mean, people were living in a really bad situation in Lebanon with the hyperinflation at the level of Venezuela, 80% loss in the value of the currency, 50% unemployment. The hospitals that are treating patients now had fired hundreds of employees just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how hospitals cope. I mean, they barely coped with the COVID. There are very few ICU beds in this country, a few hundred ICU beds in a country of 7 million or so. Yeah, I don't know how that makes it any better. I mean, things are getting worse in the country, actually. I mean, I don't know how many more things this country can humanly go through. We've seen decades of war. We've seen a banking crisis that means you can't even get your money out of the bank, and your money is almost like just non-existent anymore. The highest debt, one of the highest debt GDP ratios in the world, one of the most indebted countries in the world, which means that we don't get basic public services. We're not getting the garbage picked up in this country. We don't have electricity. We have 16 hours a day of power cuts. We live on generators. We live on water reservoirs because the government doesn't provide us with enough water. The roads are dangerous. You could die at any moment. There's no police on the roads. There's no traffic lights. The traffic lights have malfunctioned lately because of the fact that the government can't pay the bill to maintain the traffic lights. It's like no lifeguard on duty, like for the whole country, basically. And so living, it's like camping almost. There's no government really. And then you throw a massive mushroom cloud bomb into the whole thing. I mean, it's just unreal. It's like, is there a God? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how hard it can get. I don't know how much worse it can possibly be. We had shelling from Israel just a few days ago on the border. We thought we were going to have a war. They're always threatening us with a war to bomb us into Stone Age, as if we need to be in another Stone Age. I mean, so what are we to do? We wake up and we live here. I mean, we didn't ask for this. No one asked to live this way. No human being should live this way. Never knowing when it's your time, when you'll run out of food, and the gas stations don't have gasoline. They give you they ration you gasoline. We don't have any manufacturing industry, so it's not going to be okay. We don't have an economy. We can't just catch up to the world economy. So the world economy is a very unforgiving place, by the way. If you're a poor, dysfunctional country, there's no lifeline for you. There's no FDIC or aid organization or firefighters to the rescue. I mean, firefighters don't have firefighting masks enough in this country. I'm sure they're going to be injured, and some of them might die helping people tonight. Hospitals don't PPE, to treat patients with coronavirus, and now it's all mixed together. I mean, I've interviewed firefighters before in Lebanon, and they get no information from the government about what kind of materials, what kind of fires they're going into. There's no accounting, there's no inventories, there's no regulatory framework. This is a country that, I told you, the government can't perform the basic function of maintaining an electrical grid or maintaining a sanitation, a garbage collection system. So you're asking me, is it plausible? Of course it's plausible. Everything is plausible. We're an accident waiting to happen in this country. I mean, we've had gas stations blow up in the past. We've had landfills collapse into the sea. We don't even have sewage treatment in this country. So the government is just really a bunch of competing militias that were given power. And are basically funded and fueled by all the big countries in the world who pick their favorites, right? So America funds certain politicians, and the Lebanese military spends millions of dollars on that. Iran spends, millions of dollars on Hezbollah. Saudi Arabia spends, tons of money on its team. So it's like a world chessboard, on top of that. You have and I think that the world powers actually like to see Lebanon in this way because it allows them to flex their muscles and make chess moves against each other in this country. And so whenever you get aid in Lebanon, it always has strings attached. And everybody wants to make Lebanon in their image. So the country's like being constantly torn apart by different forces, and you have these militia leaders who are trying to take advantage of that as well. So yeah, I mean, there is no accountability in Lebanon. There's no transparency in Lebanon. There's no justice in Lebanon. It's really not much of a state. People call it a failed state, but I don't really call it much of a state at all. I mean, it's kind of just like hanging on by a thread. We're just kind of living on luck, and anything could go wrong at any time.